Okay.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Lakewood City Council meeting for this Monday, December 15, 2025. It's great to see everyone here, and those of you watching from home, welcome. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Councilmember Bell. Here. Councilmember Boki.
Here.
Councilmember Brandstetter.
Here.
Councilmember Lauricella.
Here.
Pearson.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Moss. Here. And Mayor Whalen.
Present.
You have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Now, if you'd stand and please join me in a moment of reflection for all those who've been impacted by the stormwaters and flooding here in Western Washington, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance to our nation's flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, tonight is an interesting evening for at least Mary and myself. We have the proclamation and presentation section of tonight's agenda. Normally we do this for those who are doing good things in the community, and instead you just have us. So the first one I'm pleased to present is a proclamation recognizing Mary Moss for her service to the city of Lakewood. And I will go down there, Mary, and then I'll call you down when you're ready. Actually, you can come down with me. How's that? We'll present that to you. I'll just start off with a few comments, and then the way we typically do proclamations involving some city officials is to kind of do it in a unified way so every council member has a voice. So the city of Lakewood is pleased to present this proclamation to you, Deputy Mayor Mary Moss, Mr. Brandstetter.
Whereas Mary Moss has served the city of Lakewood with distinction, grace, and professionalism since January 2010, serving as council member before becoming deputy mayor in January 2022. And whereas Moss's meritorious service to the city of Lakewood totals 16 years and demonstrates the highest level of dedication and excellence, and
whereas she represented the city on Lakewood's Promise Advisory Board and often served as Lakewood's representative at various events celebrating the many contributions of our service members at both McCord Field and Joint Base Lewis McChord. And
in recognition of her years of exemplary service to our service members, in 2024, Mary Moss was inducted into the JBLM Civilian Hall of Fame. And whereas throughout her service, Mary Moss has been a tireless advocate for underserved communities, promoting diversity and inclusion, and ensuring that the voices of all residents are heard and respected. And
whereas throughout her long and distinguished career, Mary Moss's civic and community involvement includes serving as president of the Lakewood Multicultural Coalition. And
whereas Mary Moss has contributed her time, talent, and passion not only to city government, but to numerous civic organizations, regional boards, and not-for-profit efforts, always striving to build a stronger, more united Lakewood. And
whereas Mary's legacy of public service, marked by thoughtfulness, humility, and dedication, has left an indelible mark on the city of Lakewood and serves as an inspiration to future leaders. Now, therefore, the Lakewood City Council hereby expresses its heartfelt gratitude to you, Mary, for your many, many years of exemplary service to the Lakewood community, for your kindness, your charm, and on occasion, your wit. So thank you, Mary. it does say proclaim this 15th day of December, 2025, all of us on the Lakewood City Council. So we love you, Mary.
Thank you.
There you go.
Oh, we have coin.
We have coins, right? So this is the proclamation. I think we'll probably come on down and do a photograph real quick. Yeah. At the end, I think we're gonna do, yeah, we'll say something at the end. Yeah. Okay. This. Oh, very good. Oh. Well, I guess the next one is a proclamation for this character by the name of Waylon to be read by the deputy mayor and council.
But thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. This is in honor of a friendship that we have developed, and we have worked so well together. It is my pleasure to read this proclamation. And the reason, whereas Jason Whalen was appointed to the City of Lakewood's Planning Advisory Board in February of 2006. He served until 2010, at which time he commenced to his first term to the Lakewood City Council. And whereas Whalen served as a city council member and deputy mayor prior to his appointment in the City of Lakewood for the 5th year in January of 2022. Are they supposed to be reading?
Yeah. And whereas Whalen's meritorious service to the city of Lakewood totals 20 years and demonstrates the highest level of dedication, excellence, and professionalism. And whereas he represented the city on the Economic Development Board of Tacoma Pierce County, the Pierce County Regional Council, the Pierce Transit Board of Commissioners, and
Whereas throughout his long and distinguished career, Whalen's civic and community involvement includes serving as president of Lakewood Rotary, and Whalen exhibited exemplary leadership and strategic direction in guiding several city policy initiatives from conception through completion.
And whereas during his time in office, Jason Whalen was a key voice in major policy decisions, strategic planning, and regional collaboration, helping to guide the city through periods of both growth and challenge with steady leadership. And whereas Whalen worked tirelessly to enhance the livability, public safety, and economic vitality of Lakewood, contributing his time and expertise to the responsible governance and long-term success of the community.
And whereas Whalen demonstrated steadfast commitment to the advanced prosperity and well-being of the community through his support of economic development initiatives, the local businesses, community, education, housing program, park enhancement, public art investment, transportation, and sidewalk improvements, and workforce development. Now therefore, the Lakewood City Council hereby express their sincere gratitude and respect to Jason Whalen for his dedication, character, and professionalism during the many years of service to the Lakewood City Council. The residents of Lakewood, the City of Lakewood, and the greater Pierce County proclaim this 15th day of December 2025, signed Deputy Mayor Moss, Council members Pearson, Branstetter, Bell, Bogie, and Larcella.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for your service.
It's a plaque. Thank you so much.
You guys still need me. It's going to be good orchestrating. Have some comments at the end and I'll open it up for the rogues gallery. First, you want to do that? And then we can comment from there. Probably one of them.
However,
Okay. So former Mayor Don Anderson reminded me that he has the opportunity to take a parting shot. So Mary and I are gonna open up the mic for any of you who want to extend parting shots or thoughts, and then Mary and I get a rebuttal.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm Don Anderson, resident of Lakewood. I couldn't miss the opportunity to come tonight and congratulate and thank Mayor Whalen, Deputy Mayor Moss for years of outstanding selfless service to the city of Lakewood. Mary, it was a true pleasure getting to know you. I knew you before our 14 years together in the council as that nice lady from Harborstone. You turned out to be my plus one, and people thought we were a couple at JBLM. We were there together for so many events. And so it was truly a pleasure to serve with you and to see all that you do for our community out of the goodness of your heart. You're truly Lakewood's Energizer Bunny. You go and you go and you don't quit. And I'm kind of surprised that you're leaving because you don't quit. Now, Jason, on the other hand, I've known for over 30 years, hired him over 30 years ago as a wet behind the ears attorney. He stayed there quite a while, but he quit. I was at the county. They called me up from the prosecutor's office, said, should we hire this guy? I said, oh yeah, by all means. He quit. I encouraged him to run for city council and helped him on his campaign. Took him a while, but he quit. But in all seriousness, we're Rotary members together at Lakewood Rotary, and Rotary's motto is service above self. And you've truly done this for the good of the community. It's not that you make money out of it. It's not that it advances your careers. It takes time. It takes you away from family and friends. It takes you away from a lot of things that you could be doing. But you have been collaborative members of the council the entire time that you've been here. And that's truly important. And we'd like to see that going forward. So don't get lost. Stay involved in the community. And thank you for all you've done.
Thanks, Don. Appreciate that. So last parting shots, if anyone has any, otherwise we'll actually, Deputy Mayor, did you have any thoughts or reflections you want to provide, or you want to hold off to the end, or feel free?
I'll be brief. I just want to say to each and every one of you and all of the residents of Lakewood, it has been indeed been my pleasure to serve in this capacity. I remember standing at that mic the very first time as a council member, and I thought my shoes were going to come off because I was just that nervous. And that hasn't changed a lot, to be honest. But it has been my pleasure. I have enjoyed working with with all the different departments, working with improving our streets, our sidewalks, our parks, and making it so convenient for all of our citizens of Lakewood to be able to get around, whether they are immobile with having to use walkers, wheelchair, whatever. We've done our best to make it possible for them to get outdoors and enjoy the sunshine and the beautiful weather that we have, not counting right this week. But I appreciate it. I am honored to have served. And so thank you all so much for your support in getting me on this council. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. I just want to provide a couple little reflections. I wrote a kind of a parting letter in the New Cascadian, which is kind of the Suburban Times successor. And so I threw some comments in there about the pleasure it has been to serve the public, and certainly it's been a long one. 20 years is a long time. I was a younger dad. I certainly had darker and more hair. You go to the Rogues Gallery out here, and it's like, who is that person at some point? But it's been truly an honor, one in which family and friends are always a part of. My family. Get a wave. Yeah. Two former youth council members, Olivia and Claire. So they've been part of the I don't want to say the problem, but the solution, I think, over the years on various boards and commissions. And so I appreciate their help, and certainly my wife, Gail, who spent, I don't know how many, 35,000 hours, Don. You're the human abacus. So what, 20 years times 50 weeks times however many hours it is on a Monday night. So she's been a Monday night widow for many, many hours and years for sure. So, but it's been a pleasure, and I look back fondly at all the things we've done in 16 years plus on elected council and 4 years with the prior work as a planning commission member. And I really thank Andrew Nidetz, who's here, and certainly John Caulfield and Doug Russell, our new city manager, who took time to educate us and to explain the workings of a council manager form of government, which we always want to kind of break through. And it's like, what do you mean we don't have any power to do anything? What do you mean? But it's true. We have the policy function and certainly the budgetary function, and the manager, the well-skilled managers that we've been blessed to have done yeoman's work over the years with an incredible city staff to execute those policy objectives. And our new auditor has been a longstanding friend. I shouldn't say new anymore. You've been around for a while now, but Linda Farmer was on the council with us and was a fantastic colleague as well. So we have enjoyed incredible collaboration. I just want to thank my fellow council members. As I wrote in my article recently, it should not go unnoticed that Lakewood has historically had collaborative councils that have continued to work together professionally and honorably in good faith for the benefit of the public, and certainly as stewards of the public's funds as well as trust, and moving the ball forward on many initiatives, whether it's infrastructure, parks and recreation, all the programming that we've done that has made Lakewood a more livable city. And none of that happens without good, dedicated staff and the many, many hands of the volunteers who serve on the boards and commissions, many of whom are out here today. Thank you, Larry, and others. You guys make it work. So we thank you for that. Appreciate all you've done. And this will be my the last evening, but you won't see the end of me because, public comment is one of those things we enjoy having every other Monday night. So maybe I'll be one of those perennial folks who comes and makes public comment just because. So look forward to seeing me maybe every other Monday, whether I'm in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, or, Honolulu, Hawaii, who knows? But thank you all for your time and effort, and we appreciate it. So what we'll do before our public comment period, we'll take a brief recess with family and friends. If you want to take a photograph, Mary, with your family, and then we've got some cookies and crumpets out there in the crumpets. I don't know. My kids know I call everything crumpets. So, it's whatever. We have cookies and stuff out there. So we'll take a recess for about 15 minutes, then we'll come back and have public comment and finish the meeting. And I just want to thank everyone for coming tonight and sharing this opportunity to say goodbye. So we'll be in recess. back in session, council, if we can make your way here. Yeah, enough crumbs to go around. Got to get the deputy mayor back in order here. She's challenging. Yeah, exactly. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are now back after a brief recess. Apparently I used the word crumpet like I lived back in the 40s or 50s, so thank you for your indulgence nonetheless. So we now turn to the public comment section of tonight's agenda. Public comments are accepted by mail, email, or by live, virtual, or in-person comment. Those comments that you'd like to submit in advance by mail can be emailed to the city clerk, Brianna Schumacher, at Brianna B. Schumacher at cityoflakewood.us, or mailed in to 6,000 Main Street Southwest here in Lakewood. Comments received up to an hour before the meeting have been provided to the council electronically. And for purposes of maintaining our transparent record, we ask that the clerk read the names of those who have submitted written comments in advance. Madam Clerk.
Mayor Whalen, the city council received written comments in advance of the meeting from Julius Brown.
Very good, thank you. Members of the audience may comment on those items pertaining to city business under this public comment period. Your comments are limited to 3 minutes per person. We simply ask that you provide your name and residence of record, come up to the microphone, speak clearly, and then you'll have your 3 minutes. Virtual comments are certainly authorized. We welcome folks to join us virtually. Please join the Zoom meeting by dialing the telephone number 253-215-8782. Enter the meeting ID number 868-7263-2373, and then use the raise the hand feature to be called upon. Again, please state your name and residence, and you'll be allowed your 3 minutes to speak. So today I'd like to first call in those folks who have signed in person to speak. And again, if you haven't signed in on the sign-in sheet, it's our rule here that doesn't matter. You're certainly welcome to make public comment. Just kind of queue up at the microphone after we call on those who have signed in. The first is Andrew Neiditz, followed by Rhea Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. My name is Andrew Neiditz. I'm a former resident of Lakewood, and I'm a former city manager of Lakewood. And I just want to correct the record a little bit. I heard comments by both the mayor and the deputy mayor a little while ago that the city council was very collaborative. And I just want to let the audience know that there was a time that was not true. That the council was very fragmented and was far from being a collaborative working group. But I give a lot of credit to Jason Whalen and to Mary Moss, because when they came on the council, the dynamics changed, and it has done nothing but improve ever since. So the proclamations are so, in my opinion, well-deserved, but it has a lot to do with collaboration. I recently moved from Lakewood to Tacoma, but I feel like my heart is still in Lakewood. And when I think of the word heart, that really is the word that comes to my mind in regards to both Jason and Mary, because they showed me, for the 8 years I was city manager, a sense of heart that then became a part of the dynamic for the council as a whole and for the city as a whole. So my heart may still be in Lakewood, but I see that heart in Jason and Mary. So I thank you all for that.
Thank you. Thank you, Andrew. Rhea Johnson, you're next, followed by Don Anderson, but he spoke earlier. So the next one would be Larry Woods after Rhea.
Mayor, council, staff, and community, my name's Rhea, representing Tacoma Sister Cities on Fairway Drive. I have lots of heart, so I'll try to say it with as much heart as you guys inspire me to do. We gather this evening to mark a significant and historic milestone, years of dedicated consecutive leadership provided by Mayor Whalen and Deputy Mayor Moss. Thank you for your leadership, time invested in community, and inspiration to our future. As a community member, I have witnessed how the stability we enjoy today is not accidental. It is the product of partnerships and that transcends politics. It's led by community engagement, vision, collaboration, and good governance. But this great city isn't just about roads and city departments. It's about vibrant parks, community centers, businesses, residents, neighborhoods, safety, jobs, and friendships, to say the least. I stand here today to speak about peace, reconciliation, and collaboration. The problems we solve together, we solve better and faster. We have the power to write a new narrative, one with good governance and one where collaboration and heart serves as a beacon of hope of other cities around the globe. To Mayor and Deputy Mayor, thank you. Thank you for the vision. Thank you for the fight. Thank you for your 15 years of leadership. Congratulations on your proclamation and building a city where people don't just live, they belong. Thank you.
Thank you, Rhea. Mr. Woods.
Hello, my name is Larry Woods. I'm a Lakewood resident and an advocate for the city of Lakewood and have been here since we were instituted as a city. I just want to thank and appreciate for all the things that I've done in Lakewood as being a part of the community and being active. It's people like you, Mayor Whalen, and Deputy Mayor Moss that have encouraged me to do what I do. And I believe I'm very proud of the city. And the reason is because people like you encourage me to be a part of. And being a part of gives you a heart for, mentioned by others. To have a heart for something is to do something about it. And so I stepped in wherever I can step in and do whatever I can do to make wherever I'm at a little bit better. But it's because of the encouragement of seeing folks like you that have gone through and seeing you grow. And not only seeing you grow, but hey, y'all took us through the pandemic. All of these things that come along with, besides the other issues, the people and the issues that come forth, and they're not all good. But every now and then, I'd get out and I'd see you in the community doing what you do and doing it well. And it's good to be able to see the people that represent you in the community. And you're approachable. And that makes a difference as well. We want to keep those kind of things going. We want to make the city better. You've done a good thing, and it's a good thing to start on. It's a good thing to keep going. It's a good thing because once you get momentum, you want to keep it going. Yeah. And I believe the city of Lakewood is better off because of your service. Thank you for your service, and the proclamation is well deserved.
Thank you, sir. Next, Abraham Mergelini.
Hello to everyone. Good evening to you. My name is Abraham Mirjalidi. I'm a resident of Lakewood. Those were really kind words, and I wish I could repeat the same. Unfortunately, I can't. I explain. When I look at some of the documents that I have in my possession, I see this council has done anything but having a double standard. I hope the next council would look at that and adjust itself to the reality and what it has been preached by this council, but not practiced, actually in our case. I give a few examples of it. One of them is actually that one of our neighbor was issued a permit to renovate her structure on the city right-of-way by the building department. Two of our other neighbors were issued a permit to build based on a survey that the method was used by our surveyor 3 years later almost. Theirs was accepted, ours was rejected. That's when not only our surveyor, but also one more surveyor had already used that and provided the city with 60 feet right away in that area. While we were pushed out of our home, 2 months later, we learned that the friend of you, Mr. Mayor, with his neighbor, had filed vacation of 100th Street N. He has stated here before this council that he learned about it 2 years earlier. when I look at some of my emails, I see that's the time that we got some threatening and demanding that we accept the what it was called inconclusive survey, which we could not and we were not going to deceive to do so. But that was not all. Also was your friend's neighbor, whose garage is partly built on the city right away and also was issued a permit. I don't know why our house, which not one, but 3 surveyors, they say no part of the structure was on the city right away, should be demolished. Thank you.
Next is, I can't read the handwriting. Yeah, it looks like J.A.C. Dowd. If you signed in or you haven't signed in, you're welcome to provide public comment. Yes, sir.
James Dunlop, Lakewood resident. As Jason Whalen and Mary Moss leave the council, we should reflect on the fact that it is not just action that leads to tragedy, but also inaction. In 2013, in Fife, Leonard Thomas was shot dead during a SWAT operation. He was unarmed and holding his 4-year-old son. According to Leonard Thomas's mother, his last words were, "Please don't hurt my child." A few years later, a civil court made substantial awards against some of the SWAT officers involved, as well as against the cities of Lakewood and Fife. As described by the Seattle Times, the award included $3 million against Chief Mike Zarrow, $2 million against Sergeant Brian Market, and $1.5 million against Mike Wiley, with all 3 being Lakewood police officers. Eventually, Lakewood agreed to the award, but it indemnified these officers and kept them on the payroll, which is extraordinary, regardless of any union agreements. The City Council should have insisted that the officers be fired or at least paid to resign. The wider community had spoken through the civil court, yet the community was ignored. I'm sure the mayor, in private practice, would have fired on the spot a junior attorney whose negligence had cost his firm a 5-figure sum. But what if a city councillor had protested and the officers had remained in place? Standing down from the council would be the only honourable course of action. Yet, Jason Whalen and Mary Moss, both elected in 2009, did nothing. Then, in 2020, one of those same officers fatally shot Saeed Wakim during a traffic stop on Steilacoom Boulevard. As with Leonard Thomas, the family sued the city. They received an $8 million out-of-court settlement. It is reasonable to speculate that if Jason Whalen and Mary Moss, as well as Paul Bockey and Michael Brandstetter, had done the right thing and insisted that all 3 officers be relieved of their duties, that shooting might not have happened. I therefore request that the outgoing mayor and his deputy remember the name Saeed Wakim. If they had real integrity, acting as individual, morally aware council members, that risk that ended Saeed Wakim's life might never have existed. Instead, another mother had to bury her son.
Next.
Hello, everybody. Christina Minetti, Gary Oak Coalition, Lakewood. Since Mary Moss and Jason Whalen were elected in 2009, Lakewood's remaining natural inheritance and quality of life has been steadily bargained away, not accidentally or unknowingly, but deliberately. In Woodbrook, one of Lakewood's poorest neighborhoods, this council chose warehouses over people, pavement over prairie, and profit over protected Gary Oaks. A community spared the Cross-Base Highway was ultimately sacrificed by quiet zoning decisions. The city's showpiece, Woodbrook Overlay, now shows wall-to-wall warehouses where modest homes, truly affordable housing, remnant prairie, and oaks once stood. now including a massive Amazon warehouse spanning hundreds of thousands of square feet. This was not progress. It was their dereliction of duty. In Springbrook, 114 protected Gary oaks, some 4 centuries old, growing on remnant prairie in a critical area floodplain, were cut down for a mitigation fee of roughly $417,000. That money did not and could not mitigate the loss. Pretending otherwise was dishonest. In Sylvan Park, the city saw 148 Gary oaks and protected groves as the perfect place for permitting a moving company warehouse, instead of making it a public park, for example. Despite constantly talking about expanding the tree canopy, they allow it to be cut down. That choice revealed the council's priorities. Woodbrook, Springbrook, Sylvan Park, pretty names that once meant living landscapes. Under this council, they became casualties. Then came Wahop Lake. Instead of restoring a damaged ecosystem, this council approved repeated high-dose alum treatments, turning a living lake into a chemically managed basin so it would not offend noses or deter park users. Birds vanished, fish, frogs, turtles followed. Convenience trumped ecology. Finally, hundreds of apartments and more than 400 parking spaces were approved over the headwaters of the salmon-bearing creek at the former Barnes & Noble site, while proven restoration models like Thornton Creeks were ignored, of course. These decisions were not isolated mistakes. They form a pattern of thoroughgoing moral failure. Council members are not just administrators. They are trustees of something that cannot be replaced. That trust was violated. Tonight, there should be no applause, only a resounding indictment of this legacy of true ecological devastation and the outgoing members' role in it. And here is my personal comment. Christina Minetti Lakewood, tonight is supposed to be a celebration of Mayor Jason Whalen and Deputy Mayor Moss's 16 years in office. But what we need tonight is not praise. What we need tonight is a moral reckoning. During these years, this council, with their participation, has presided over the systematic destruction of Lakewood's natural, civic, and human foundations. This body allowed a disastrous critical areas ordinance to persist, gutting protections that were supposed to be non-negotiable. Critical, right? Hundreds and hundreds of Gary oaks were lost, but that doesn't matter. That destruction was foreseeable, preventable, and it had been rubber-stamped by those on the council. This council stood by while the Tanzer Library was demolished. You all knew what that building meant. It was our civic heart, really, our most important building, a nationally award-winning library designed by a local veteran. The council had options, but chose inaction. My family and thousands of others in Lakewood will never recover from that loss. Jason Whalen, Mary Moss, and the others did nothing to save the historic Starlight Drive-In and its beloved swap meet, which supported generations of families, largely Hispanic vendors, and drew visitors from across the region. They annihilated a landmark and people's livelihoods, again, in favor of warehouses and out-of-state developers. It was during these years that poor neighborhoods were sacrificed in favor of warehouses: Woodbrook, Springbrook, and Sylvan Park. This was not inevitability. It was city policy. Your Lakewood chose to protect the police after the killings of unarmed young black men, Saeed Joaquin and Leonard Thomas. This council kept those reprehensible officers and that chief in place, even after the city paid millions in settlements. What does that tell us? Finally, the council approved the demolition of my immigrant neighbor's home to expand a tiny park for motorboat access into priority salmon habitat. You talked incessantly about affordable housing, then destroyed a perfectly good house for a 4-stall boat trailer parking lot. That act alone should shame this body. What would this have happened if it had belonged to a white veteran, we wonder? Mr. Whalen, Ms. Moss, and every council member who enabled these decisions deserve condemnation, not applause. The record of this council is one of destruction, abdication of moral responsibility, and betrayal of public trust. You leave behind a path of devastation, destroyed oaks, hundreds of them, erased neighborhoods, demolished landmarks, and human trauma. That is your record. That is your legacy, and there's nothing here to celebrate or to laugh about. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. Any others who would like to provide public comment? tonight, and you're certainly welcome to queue up if you haven't had a chance to sign in. We always welcome positive, constructive comment.
Good evening, Mayor Whalen, council. My name is Mark Hare. I'm a Lakewood resident. In the world that we live in, oftentimes voices of opposition are overlooked or silenced. And we don't see that happening in Lakewood. While I may not always agree with everybody that comes to the table, what I do agree with and I do support is that there is a table to come to and bring and voice those frustrations and those victories, perceived victories, and or perceived losses or shortcomings. As we stand here today, we live in a world of violence and tragedy far too often. I'm proud to say that I live in this community of Lakewood, of which you preside over as a council, and you continue to provide that opportunity for all of our community members. And we do have a very diverse community here in Lakewood. And as we continue to move forward into the year 2026 with our new council, I hope we continue to provide that table for everybody here. I've sat on lots of city council meetings. We don't always have a robust group as we do here tonight. But one thing that is consistent is the people of this community, they come out to voice either frustration or support or happiness or sadness for what's happening in this community. And I think that speaks to the quality of our residents and the quality of our leaders that we have present here before us today, and those that have come before us and cleared the path, and those that will come after us. And so for that, I say thank you for everybody in the audience here tonight to come and share your thoughts. And thank you to every member on this council, and Mayor Whalen and Deputy Mayor Moss. Thank you for your many years of service. We will continue to move forward and we'll be better for it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any others in the audience who wish to provide public comment tonight? Otherwise, I'll turn to those who may be appearing on Zoom. Anyone else? Going once, going twice? Okay, we'll turn to Zoom. Madam Clerk, we have a few hands raised.
First, we have a telephone number ending in 1312.
Great. Again, if you can state your name for the record, residence, and then you can proceed. So it looks like that person does not have a hand raised.
Can you
There you
hear
go.
me?
Yes.
Hi, thank you. This is Mike Zarro, your long lost police chief in retirement, resident of Pierce County. Mayor Whalen, Deputy Mayor Moss, my retirement gig takes me out of state frequently, and tonight, unfortunately, I'm in Nebraska and unable to be there with you, but I did want to take a minute just to call and express my appreciation for both of your dedicated efforts as council members and just as people. I've watched, had the privilege of working for you and watching you over the years and just seeing how you've handled some of the toughest situations a city and a council can face. And you've handled it always with dignity, and I can say with confidence, with Lakewood in mind. You've done it with a balance of heart and intellect that is not often seen in our elected officials, and something that I think you should be proud of. It's certainly something I'm proud of for having worked for you and been able to see. And as somebody that saw Lakewood, from before incorporation, I can honestly say that you've moved Lakewood in a better direction. I know not everybody agrees, clearly, but again, I can say, seeing you behind the scenes and away from the dais, that your heart has always been there for Lakewood, and just, again, through some of the most challenging times. And as you look back, you might question, what impact you actually had. And if nothing else, I will say that you made me a better servant and a better leader just being able to watch how you work. So thank you both for everything you've done for the city and for everything you've done for me, just in allowing me to grow as a leader, and you'll always be remembered. So thank you both, and best of luck with whatever you have coming next.
Thank you very much, Chief. Next, Tishomer Dunlop.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello, my name is Tihomir Dunlop, and I am a resident of Lakewood. When I heard that today will be the last meeting for Mayor Whalen and Deputy Mayor Moss, I figured it would be a good time to go over all the horrific things that have happened since they took office in 2009. I was just 4 then, and these 16 years represent the entirety of what I know of Lakewood. And really, so many horrible things have happened. The first horrible thing I can recall happening is the cutting down of a dozen or so Gary oak trees 2 houses down from my house. We then lost the beloved flea market, along with the historic drive-in movie theater, and now, in its place, was built a speculative warehouse, still standing, mostly vacant. My grandfather loved to spend his Saturday mornings at the flea market looking for treasures and buying fruit, and a lot of people depended on that flea market for their livelihoods. And then we lost our library. I loved that library. My whole family did. When reasons were given for why it had to be torn down, they all seemed kind of fake. There's no way on earth that fixing the things wrong with that building would cost more than an entire new library, of which there's no sign yet. The quote-unquote interim library is no replacement and is probably going to end up being more permanent than was originally said. On this council's watch, last year my neighbor by Lake Steilacoom had his house taken away and demolished, and we continue to lose oaks on a disturbingly frequent basis. If you had asked me when I was little what the most distinctive city landmarks were, I would have said 3 things: the library, the flea market, and the trees. And now 2 of those are gone, and the third is rapidly disappearing. All of this happened under the watch of Mayor Whalen and Deputy Mayor Moss. This period of time is nothing to celebrate. Thank you.
That's the last hand I see raised, Madam Clerk. Any others who would like to provide public comment?
Mayor, there are no other virtual hands raised at this time.
Very well. My last time, Deputy Mayor. I declare public comment closed. Next, we'll turn to the consent agenda. Madam Clerk.
Consent agenda A, approval of the minutes of the City Council meeting of December 1st, 2025. B, approval of the minutes of the City Council special meeting of December 2nd, 2025. C, approval of the minutes of the City Council study session of December 8th, 2025. D, motion number 2025-87, authorizing the execution of an amendment to the agreement with Active Construction for the Silicon Boulevard 87th to Weller Road project. E, motion number 2025-88, authorizing the execution of a collective bargaining agreement with Teamsters Local Union number 117 for the period of January 1, 2026 through December 31, 2029. F, motion number 2025-89, appointing Kristen Flores and James Merritt to serve on the Planning Commission through December 15, 2028. G, items filed in the office of the city clerk. 1, Parks and Recreation Advisory Board meeting minutes of October 28th, 2025.
Thank you. Is there any item which any council member wishes to remove from consent agenda consideration at this time? Seeing none, do I have a motion to adopt the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved by Councilmember Pearson, seconded by Deputy Mayor Moss, that we adopt the consent agenda. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The consent agenda has been adopted. We now move to the regular agenda ordinances. The first, ordinance 841, Madam Clerk.
Ordinance number 841, granting Comcast Cable Communications Management LLC a non-exclusive franchise to construct, maintain, operate, replace, and repair a cable communication system in, across, over, along, under, through, and below public rights of way in the city of Lakewood.
Very good. For this, we have our Assistant to the City Manager, Mr. Vargas, to provide a brief overview.
Well, good evening, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, council members. I will be starting on page 75 of your packet tonight with the cover memo. And congrats to the mayor and deputy mayor for your final franchise agreement with the city of Lakewood. So here we go. So going over the memo on page 75, the substantive red line changes in the Comcast franchise have been implemented. We reviewed those red line changes at your November 17th study session. I'll just go over them quickly here. So you will be looking at the clean version of the ordinance tonight. The first one would be a definition of emergency situation. This was added for clarity as it shows up multiple ways throughout the franchise agreement, and the city defined what an emergency situation is, and that is very important for the city to have control over how we define that. We also have the term of the franchise. The initial franchise term is 5 years with up to one automatic 5-year extension, absent a 6-month notice to cancel, for a total of 10 years possibly. And this is in line with other Comcast franchise terms that we see throughout, such as recently passed in Burien, Des Moines, and Vancouver. Roughly around 10 years is where we want to land. That gives us a good pace to revisit a franchise of this magnitude with a big player such as Comcast in the telecom franchise. We deleted several sections here, such as having to notify Comcast if another cable television franchise is filed with the city. We also deleted a condition of sale clause since there's no interest in the city of owning or operating a cable system if Comcast were to leave that. Moving on, we have a relocation at the request of the city. This is an important clause to have in such that it states that the franchisee may offer alternatives to relocation of facilities if a city project requires it, and that the city reviews and approves that alternative. That is standard across our franchise agreement, since we want the utility provider here to offer up an alternative and not the city at first. We have excavation and restoration of the right-of-way. We have our standard telecom franchise that essentially says that Comcast must restore the right-of-way to a previous condition if they were to do a pavement cut. And as we also reference the city's 5-year pavement cut moratorium as well. We have the street vacation clause. This essentially says that this is standard across our franchises. The franchisee, their facilities must be removed upon vacation unless it's a condition of the vacation to allow them to stay. And then we also have a 90-day notice period to the franchisee, which is about standard when we look at other franchise agreements. We have our joint trenching and boring clause. This section was kept with the caveat that the final determination of if joint boring, trenching with other utility providers such as gas, electric, or telecom is technically or economically feasible, as well as the authorization to proceed with such joint trenching, that lies solely with the city. So we have the yes or no. If other utility providers were to start trenching, Comcast wants to hop in, the city decides if that's feasible or not. We deleted a section about new developments in which would have required open trenching with developers at new housing developments. That's no longer here. And we round out with security bond language that is standard with our other telecom franchises, in that the city engineer sets the performance bond amount in accordance with the reference Lakewood Municipal Code there. Now, I will note that there is a scrivener's error when it comes to insurance. That is on page 108 of your packet tonight. It should read $5 million for general and then $3 million for auto. This is standard language across our other telecom franchises, is also in line with our WCIA requirements, and Comcast is in agreement with that. That was just an error and will be fixed upon final passage here. And as for the fiscal impact, we do have a standard 5% franchise fee on gross revenues that is applicable here. So with that, I will conclude and happy to field any questions. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Vargas. Any questions? Again, this is an item we spent some time during our study session reviewing with Mr. Vargas, providing comment and of course, receiving his feedback to our comment tonight. So you've done an excellent job, Mr. Vargas. There's no questions.
Awesome.
You might wait till next week's public comment. You might get some.
Uh-oh.
I have a motion to adopt ordinance 841.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilmember Pearson, seconded by Councilmember Bell, that we adopt ordinance 841. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Ordinance 841 has been adopted, provided you don't take down any Gary Oak trees in the installation of the franchise. We now turn to ordinance 842. Madam Clerk.
Ordinance number 842, adopting amendments to the Lakewood Municipal Code related to allowed locations and related regulations of childcare centers.
Thank you. And for this, we have our planning manager, Tiffany Spear. Ms. Spear.
Thank you and good evening, Mr. Mayor, Madam Deputy Mayor and Council. This begins on page 123 of your packet. It is an agenda bill that includes two attachments. First is the actual ordinance 842, which starts on page 124. And then attachment B to the document is responses to the public comments received at the public hearing several weeks ago. So no surprises here. This is reflective of what you saw in the study session as well as at the public hearing.
Right.
If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Otherwise, I think you would be ready to take action this evening, Mr. Mayor.
The only question I had, Ms. Spear, and I was trying to find it, we talked a little bit about the issue of existing CCNRs. Do we add that language in here somewhere? I may have just missed it.
It's not in here because what the city has done is add something that every permit applicant has to acknowledge in the online permitting system.
Got it.
And so it covers actually more than just this issue. It's verifying that they have reviewed the CCNRs and are,
Right.
yeah, so
Okay.
it's there.
Yeah, that's actually better. Thank you. Any questions of Ms. Spear? Again, this was a matter we reviewed in depth at the study session. We had some good back and forth conversations that resulted in the updated comments provided by Ms. Spear tonight. So thank you for your work. Do we have a motion to adopt ordinance number 842?
I move adoption of ordinance number 842.
Second.
I'm moved by Councilmember Boki, seconded by Councilmember Pearson, that we adopt ordinance 842. Any further discussion? I do. Mr. Brandstetter, and then Mr. Boki.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm glad to see that we have this ordinance before us, and in fact, that we have it before us on a faster timeline than the state legislature expected us to act on, and so that we can sort of be in the vanguard of that. The availability of childcare and the limited number of spaces where childcare facilities could be established has been a contributing factor in actually having some childcare deserts in the city, and this will go a way to do that. And it not only will, over time, increase the availability of childcare, but it will also make it easier for persons who want to enter that industry and become providers to have places to do that and to be able to go and do that. And I think that's going to be something that is in the long term going to help because I think that the greater number of childcare facilities will perhaps not lower the cost of childcare, but slow the cost of the rate of increased cost of childcare. And I think that the few exceptions that we made that include our air corridor zones and others where we're not going to do that, are well considered. And I would appreciate the fact that the Planning Commission both moved quickly, but moved with a great deal of detailed consideration in putting this before us to be able to go and do that. I did see that there were some public comments and that there were, but I don't know that a childcare facility is any more harmful to the environment than any other sort of business activity that might take place, to include that we have a significant number of businesses that are home businesses that are located in residential areas. And, so I think it's entirely component to do that. If I had, and I do appreciate the changes that were made between when we discussed it to now, to caution folks about the checking on covenants and restrictions, so that neither individuals wanting to establish childcare facilities and we, in terms of trying to work through the permitting process, don't spin wheels on locations that quite aren't there, and the state legislature, it's not yet designated childcare facilities as essential public facilities, but if they were to do that at some point down the road, that would also help with mitigating some of those places of where they still won't be allowed. But thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I certainly tend to vote in favor of the ordinance.
Thank you, Councilmember Brandstetter. Mr. Boki.
Well, what he said, I want to thank Ms. Spear and the Planning Commission for really taking this on. And I think this is one of those times when the interests of the city of Lakewood and what the legislature would like to do really lined up. This is really a big issue. I just was listening to a show this morning and they were talking about, and it really had to do with something entirely different. And within the conversation, there was this discussion about the cost of childcare nationally. And so I think that this is really a small step towards this. I don't think that overnight we're going to see all sorts of childcare centers popping up. But I think it's really a positive step. It keeps us in line with, and it shows good faith with the legislature, the state of Washington. And it's still, and I see the concerns here. We heard the concerns. It is still a very regulated industry for a lot of good reasons, right? It's not, this isn't, hey, open a childcare center anywhere you want with anybody you want, any way you want, right? There's a lot of actors in the regulation of this. So I support this this ordinance to go forward, and hopefully it'll work out and create a little bit more supply.
Thank you. Any other comments? Well, I too am very supportive of Ordinance 842 and those necessary amendments to comply not only with state law, but to do the right thing in our community. We are a host community to Joint Base Lewis McChord. One of the significant and key goals for SSMCP was to enhance the opportunity for families to have livable amenities, including good and available childcare in Lakewood. And this will certainly help us make that happen to the best that we can, at least on the regulatory side, making policy changes through code updates. So thanks for that, Ms. Spear. Okay, all in favor of Ordinance 842 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Ordinance number 842 has been adopted. We now turn to unfinished business. I don't see any lingering items. We have one matter of new business, motion 2025-90. Madam Clerk.
Motion number 2025-90, appointing a presiding officer to serve at the City Council meeting of January 5th, 2026 until the election of the mayor.
Very good. And I guess I can speak to this. We had some conversation at the study session consistent with the council's rules of procedure, you can take this step at this meeting, or you can wait until the first meeting in January. It's really your pleasure. I think because of the departure of both the chair and vice chair, if you will, of the board, via the mayor and deputy mayor, it would be helpful to have somebody at least open that first meeting in January. So that is why, by consensus, this matter now comes back to council for consideration. So let's first get a motion on the floor, and then we can have some discussion. So do I have a motion to adopt motion 2025-90? Been moved by the deputy mayor, seconded by Councilmember Brandstetter, that we adopt motion 2025-90. Discussion. Mr. Brandstetter.
Mr. Mayor, I would move to amend the motion for it to state that we appoint Councilmember Pearson as the interim chair at the beginning of the first meeting in January.
I'm not sure it requires an amendment, but we'll consider that. Do I have a second to the amendment to appoint Councilmember Pearson as the presiding officer for that first Monday meeting in January? Okay. We have an amendment to the motion to insert the name of Councilmember Pearson as presiding officer for that first council meeting on January 5, 2026. Any further discussion on the amendment to the motion? All in favor of the amendment signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The amendment passes. We now turn to motion 2025-90 as amended. Any further discussion? Well, I'll just say I think it's a good idea. I think it makes, notwithstanding the appointment of Councilmember Pearson to be the presiding officer, I still think it's a good idea to have one for that first meeting, because it'll just make the meeting flow a little bit more smoothly. And in all jest, I think you'll do a great job, and honored to have you step into that role for that particular meeting. So any other thoughts, comments? Seeing none, all in favor of motion 2025-90 as amended, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion 2025-90 as amended has been adopted. That concludes the items for discussion on this final meeting for the calendar year 2025. We now turn to reports by the city manager.
Yes, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, and Council. I'll be pretty brief tonight. We're reaching the end of the year, holiday season, so not a whole lot of events on the table. We do have this Friday dinner with the Stryker Brigade, and then we have the next 2 Mondays off, so we'll reconvene for that first Monday in January. And the final thing is just a heartfelt appreciation to Mayor Jason Whalen, Deputy Mayor Mary Moss. Public service is a matter of coming back week after week and making decisions where you know you're not going to make everyone happy. And to continually do that with fortitude and consistency and appreciation for public service is not lost on people. And it is a tremendous gift for people in my profession to have people that are committed to that effort. So I wish you both the best and thank you for your service.
Thank you very much. Well, that's it. We now go to city council comments. I'll start with Councilmember Laura Sella tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First, I want to speak to Deputy Mayor Moss. I've had the joy of sitting next to her since I've gotten here. It's been about 3 years. She is the best part of being on council. I look forward to showing up on Mondays and getting hugs and having her insight to things. And you can really feel the love that the community has for Mary and the love that she has for the community. So it's been a pleasure to sit next to you, Mary. And to Mayor Whalen, you provide such great perspective and intelligence in how you approach things, and you truly care about and love our hometown. I'll miss your wit and your occasional dad joke.
Exactly.
But truly, both of you really inspire the rest of us to continue to serve the community and you leave great footprints for us to follow in. I think of it as, Jason, you are the brain of the operation, and Mary, you're the heart. So beyond that, I just want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Councilmember Pearson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Going a little out of order tonight on your last night, getting
All over the
crazy.
place. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I just want to take a brief minute to express my gratitude to both Deputy Mayor Moss and Mayor Whalen. We heard a lot of great comments and some kind of bad comments that I didn't quite agree with tonight, but largely it was about heart for the community and, you know, your commitment to public service. You know, you guys have both been great role models for so many people here in the community, myself included. I really appreciate learning along with you and going through some of the challenges that we've had here. I will miss the dad jokes for sure. That'll you've kept the meetings fun and enjoyable for the most part. So they get a little long sometimes, but and then the other piece of it, people talked about, you know, how good of a council we have, that we can deliberate and be friendly and just have good discussions on topics, even though we may agree or disagree on things. We all move forward and, you know, talk to each other at the end of the meeting, and it is what it is. And I think that we are lucky as a community to have a council like that, and I hope that that really continues. I know that it's been a point of mine to do what I can to help continue that. And so I'm hoping that the new folks come on board and we enjoy much more of what we've had in the past that you guys have helped lead. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Bell.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't mean to turn my back this way, but I'm gonna speak this way. So I did write just something really quickly, but I wanted to add things. So a deputy mayor. So Mary has been a welcoming smile from the day one on the council for me. Her genuine care and love for the community shines through in all that she does. From her involvement with JBLM to founding of the Lakewood Multicultural Coalition. It's been an amazing addition to our community. Know that and be very proud of it. I will miss your presence here. Like Tristan said, it is, sorry to the rest, it is the best part of council and being up here. And on the dais, and I want to thank you for your mentorship and your friendship, and your legacy of service will continue. And we're all better for having served alongside you. So I will miss seeing you every Monday. I hope to see you outside of here. So that will be wonderful, but thank you. And Mayor Whalen, I first met you when I joined the Arts Commission. And I saw you come in and I was like, well, at least he has a little bit of style, so that's good. So he should be for the Arts Commission. So I did love that. So he was the council liaison, and since then I have had the privilege of serving with him for the last 5 years. He has become a trusted advisor, a mentor, and a friend. And I will truly miss sitting next to you. Like Tristan mentioned, he gets to sit next to Deputy Mayor. I get to hear a little bit more maybe than most.
Muttering.
The dad jokes that we're
Yeah.
talking about so much. I'll miss seeing what socks you're wearing because you always wear interesting socks. And then counting how many bracelets you have on.
Right,
I
exactly.
do that, bracelets and rings. It's just
Yeah.
my own personal thing there. But I wish you all the best in the future, and I know that I will get to see you again because we have day jobs that are
We do.
neighboring and intersect a lot. So I am not saying goodbye, and I know I will see you, but thank you so very, very much, both of you.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Brandstetter.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We certainly were at as many people have noted, that this is a landmark change for us. In the 16 years we've been on the council, there hasn't been a year of where we've changed more than one council member at a time, to be able to go and do that. So I will get over being abandoned.
Yeah.
But I would say that the thing that I have appreciated about both of you is it wasn't so much your friendship with me and with others that are there, but that your candor with the community when we have had things where there have been differences of opinion in the community of defining the fact that the common good is the standard to be able to go and do that. And that, while you sort of voice that you could understand why people might feel the way they are, that you set the tone that this council has to look at what is the greatest common good around a number of issues. And there were some issues of where that was really the deciding factor. And I sensed sometimes that people thought that they expected you to go the other way than we all did, and you did, to do that. So I'm certainly looking forward to the new council that we have. And as Mr. Pearson and you, Mayor, have said, that for this council to maintain its reputation about being a council that goes about its business in a professional way, in the right way, and without personalities being the deciding issues on points, or of lingering after votes were taken.
Thank you, Councilmember Brandstetter. Councilmember Boki.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So first, Mary, I was thinking back, the first time we actually worked together, we were on the Communities and Schools of Lakewood Board, and we met over in that little house over here by Park Lodge, and it's probably one of 30 boards you've been on or more. I wouldn't be surprised if it was more. Thank you for giving me rides when I didn't have a car to get here. No one knows, but not everybody knows, but Mary doesn't live far from me, and I had to call her several times, like, Mary, I don't have a car to get to council. Can you come and pick me up? And of course she did, and back to and fro. And I would just say it's great. You have such grace, and I think that the community just loves that, right? You've done so much work. All these years, you've been a wonderful, wonderful person, and you brought so much to this community. And I know you're going to continue that because it's in your DNA. But I really appreciate it here at the council. So Jason, I've said this to other people, haven't always said it to you, but I would tell people, I said, Jason is this unique skill set of intellect and vision. And I have met a lot of elected officials, and a lot of them are really good people, and they're bright, and they really do their best for the positions they're in. But very few are both really smart and have a ton of vision plus, which I really do appreciate. And I think this community is so much better for it, right? When you talking about things like the Gravelly Lake Trail, and I'm all for roads and sidewalks, but I'm like, well, okay, well, we'll do it. And we're still, and I look at it as there's a lot of unfinished business, right? But in a way, that's a good thing because we've accomplished so much, but yet we're still talking that when we start the new year, we're really going to have to sit down as a council and talk about a lot of unfinished things or things that are just starting out. And the reason is because this council led by you and other great folks has really embraced the vision thing, as it's called, right? And really, I think as a group, we bought in and then we stuck with that. And it's just really been invaluable for this community. It really has. We've made really good strides over the last decade or so. Big strides. And I do have one regret, and that's not getting you a fountain, right? We've talked about this. You've taken pictures on vacations. I've taken pictures on vacation and sent them to you, mainly just to get you
fixed.
Mainly just to annoy you as I send these pictures of fountains, but again, it's part of that whole vision thing. So thank you very much, both of you. I mean, you've just both been just incredible colleagues and great public servants.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Well, turn it over to the deputy mayor.
I can't believe this is the last time I get to address my council members. That's
Yeah.
amazing. You know, one of the things that I really truly appreciate that I didn't know was that when we came on the council, we changed the dynamic of the council as far as collaboration. That was heartwarming. I'm glad he shared that with us. Can you hear me? I'm glad that was shared tonight, so I appreciate that. The other thing is that, you know, we serve over 65,000 people in our community. And I think if we only have 4 or 5 people that have nothing but negative comments to make about no matter what we do, we've done a good job. I'd serve from my heart for whatever I do. It doesn't matter if it's council, any community, whatever. It's a passion that I have for people, and I love to see people happy. And when I can make people happy, it makes me happy. So I'm not going away. You're not going to get rid of me. I'll be around. But what I wanted to also say to my colleagues, I've enjoyed working with each and every one of you. And the ones that were here before you guys came on was great. We've all worked really well together. I appreciate it, and I feel confident leaving you guys because I know that you're going to continue the legacy that we have started. And speaking of legacies, I do have a legacy that we have started in our city, regardless of what some people might think. But just remember one thing: we are never going to please everybody. When we only have 4 or 5 people complaining, we're doing a good job. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And I will miss you, but I won't be far. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mary. Well, this is it. I do want to just make one comment about one of the items we had on the agenda because one of our new planning commission members is in the audience, Mr. Jim Merritt. Even though it went without much discussion, I just wanted to point out that consistent with the spirit of volunteerism here in the city, there were 7 incredible applicants for those 2 positions. I wish we could have appointed 7 to have 14 or whatever, because there's such a heart to do good things in the community. And it was great to hear different stories and perspectives from each of the 7. And I hope whoever fills this seat continues the tradition. What I tried to do, I wasn't successful every time, but I tried to interview every applicant for every board and commission, at least give them 15 minutes to say thank you, appreciate your willingness to step up and learn a little bit about who they were, where they live, why they were interested. And you really glean a lot about the heart of this community when you speak to those who are interested in serving. So I just want to thank all of them. And thank you, Jim, for stepping up, and also Christian Flores, who you appointed tonight. I think they're going to be great voices on the council. We often, as Mary indicated, hear from the 5 or 6 individuals that have concerns, and the public comment period is absolutely appropriate to raise concerns. We are here to receive all comment, both positive and negative. My only thought is on the consistent negative, public comment. I would encourage those who have, you know, the minority who continue to have the same issue over and over again that seems to be frustrating for you, that if you find that your public comment isn't achieving the ends or the goals that you seek to achieve, you might think about changing your modus operandi. You might figure out a better way to approach the issue. You might try to chat with a council member one-on-one, arrange a coffee, maybe go to one of the neighborhood association meetings where you can actually have some dialogue back and forth. Because if it's so frustrating, then it's obviously not working for you and you're not getting the result that you hope to achieve with your monologue with council. But as Mr. Brandstetter indicated quite well, I think this council has done yeoman's work at always seeking the greatest common good in the work, you know, that we've done together for a long time. You know, in my humble opinion, Lakewood is vastly improved through the grace and stewardship of really incredible staff and the vision of really good council members. We have been able to invest hundreds of millions of dollars in infrastructure improvements, sidewalks, parks, lighting, incredible events to make this community more livable. And it's moved the needle in a really positive way. And so I hope that you all grasp that and acknowledge the challenges that face the city of Lakewood. We will always have challenges with public safety. We're always going to have challenges with finances on occasion, depending on the vagaries of the economy. We always have infrastructure needs to make sure that our PCI rating is where it needs to be. We're always going to have greater wants and need than we have finances to accommodate. But I think the important thing for all of you to remember is to keep the vision alive. Think big, think bold. You know, be willing to lead with your heart as well as your minds. And I think you will accomplish great things together. I'm just really proud to have served. And I want to thank you for it. So, Deputy Mayor.
Mr. Mayor, I just want to say that it has been a pleasure to serve as your deputy mayor, even though I have to hit you on the shoulder.
Yeah, exactly.
I have enjoyed working with you and all of our council members, and I'm confident that you guys will continue to carry on the relationship that amongst us as we have. And it's bittersweet. It's never a good time, but there is a right time. So thank you guys for everything.
Mary and I have been the mutton, Jeff. She's the rose, I've been the thorn. So it's been a great working relationship. I've enjoyed sitting next to you. Again, I just really have enjoyed working with all of you. You have a great future. The two new council members coming on board will add an incredible amount of perspective and new judgment and an opportunity, and collectively, you guys are going to move the needle in a great direction. And so I look forward to watching, not so much from afar, because I'll be close to the vest. And apparently, I can call in from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, or I can come here, provide public comment every Monday night. Exactly. Don't come from Hawaii. So with that, again, thank you. And a special thank you to staff. Brianna, you've been amazing for all of us. And Heidi, you guys have been amazing. Really appreciate all the crap that we've made you put up with over the years. All the computer problems that we've made you or asked you to solve, the crazy phone calls, the text messages, the emails, in all of it, you guys have been incredible professionals, and I really have enjoyed it. So this is it. We're adjourned.